Well, this is not new, and they have honestly worked hard for it. It's not like over a sudden. And th this is the good thing also about federal system. In the UAE, each Amara, it's like focused on a certain issue, and we see Dubai is the economic hub, while Abu Dhabi is more the political hub. And while Sharjah, for example, is more the cultural hub. And so, answering your question, why investors are attracted, because definitely what investors are asking for, easy facilitations, easy access, excellent infrastructure, all of that, you find it in Dubai. So there are no complications. And beside the good environment they have, whether culturally and also in terms of business. So everything is made in Dubai for business investment, because actually the city itself was established for economic investment since its establishment. So that's why it didn't come over a sudden.
Joining me today on the Capital Show, Dr. Professor Najat Al Saied, Assistant Professor at University of Sharjah. You are most welcome on our show. I'm sure that my audience is waiting eagerly for you to talk, to speak, and it will be a learned session. I'm going to start with my first question concerning the project known as the India Middle East Europe Corridor that was spawned on the recent G20 summit. What do you think about it?
Okay. The India Middle East Europe corridor is an ambitious project that aims to establish a seamless trade route connecting India, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, and Europe. Mainly, the project is expected to enhance economic integration, trade investment, and foster cooperation among the participating countries. Definitely, this corridor is going to enhance to enhance many things, including reducing the trade cost, promote market access, and encourage investment opportunities between the participating countries. The project is also expected to enhance regional connectivity by improving transportation infrastructure, cross-border cooperation, energy supply, and logistic efficiency. According to what we have heard, it will have two paths: the eastern road and the northern one, connecting India to the Arabian Gulf, and the northern corridor connecting the Arabian Gulf to Europe. So in general, it is definitely economic integration. Yeah. However, some observants have different kind of analysis through that. They interpret it in a more political aspect.
I'm going to jump to another subject. His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, gave an important interview for Fox News. How do you see what he said in general, especially when he talks about Iran? He said if Iran procures an atomic weapon, this will be a very serious development. Can you elaborate more on that?
Well, I believe his statement was very, very clear in that point. He's seeking to strengthen, he's definitely seeking to strengthen the military power and develop its civilian nuclear program to defend the country. And this comes within the framework of Vision 2030, citing the Crown Prince statement that if Iran possesses nuclear weapons, Saudi Arabia will be forced to seek to possess the same thing. So, so here he means by that it is a strategic imperative for self-defense, especially in response to the possibility of a neighboring country, a nation acquiring such weapons. So, if Iran possess such thing, Saudi Arabia is forced to do that. So he's not seeking for the nuclear weapons. He's seeking for, in case if this happens, Saudi Arabia's force is going to do it. But definitely, this is not.
It's a balance of power in the region.
Exactly.
On another hand, how do you assess the word or the message that the UAE delivered in the UN, the latest General Assembly meetings? They talked about stability or with no difference or no racism, which any country, even if they have differences in foreign policy, they must assure stability in the region. What do you read in this?
This is basically the UAE foreign policy. They always go for more using the soft power rather than the hard power in dealing with issues, because the UAE policy is mainly promoting peace, promoting stability, and even their way of conflict resolution is basically through negotiations. And even when it comes, and what proves that they are truly honest in this kind of statements is even in their own conflicts or in their main concerns concerning their national security, like for example the 3 islands occupied by Iran. They never say that they will confront with Iran. They never say that they will go for hard power. They always say that we're going to go for negotiations and take it to the maximum way to the international court. But they never go for such hard military, for example, confrontation. This is the Emirati way of dealing with conflicts.
Yeah, I want to ask you something related to the provocation that the Iranian government is continuing to provoke the Iranian media, targeting the UAE and trying to create a gap between UAE and Saudi Arabia on the Yemen situation. So what do you think is going on here? Why the Iranians is trying to make a big issue, especially through the media, exploiting the Emirati-Saudi tension on social media?
Well, I'm not surprised about that. And we should expect something like this, no matter how many peace agreements that happened with the Iranian regime, because it is an ideological regime. And ideological regime, usually they don't maintain their power through peace agreements, but through conflicts. But we are the region here, the countries in the region here, trying as much as possible not to give this opportunity to the Iranian regime. They're trying to do as much as possible for more peaceful cooperations and not to, because they are trying to avoid any kind of escalation. So in regards to Yemen, the situation in Yemen has been unstable for years with a devastating civil war, as we know. However, we noticed lately that there have been some positive developments in the recent months. But unfortunately, what happened lately, the hostile violations by the Houthi group, resulting in the martyrdom of an officer and a civilian, as well as an injury of several Bahraini Defense Forces members, can impact the stability of ceasefire agreements in Yemen. So this can destabilize the kind of ceasefire that is happening. And the conflict in Yemen has been ongoing for almost a decade now. And the adherence to ceasefire that began in April 2022 by the Houthi rebels suggests they are now prepared to live with a political outcome to the war that leaves them in control of most of the country. However, the recent hostile violations by the Houthi group can further worsen the situation. So here, we don't know what will happen. Maybe a more UN involvement might be there in order to return back the calmness in the situation.
How do you see the role of the UAE in the humanitarian aids to help countries like Morocco and Libya recover from the natural disaster? How do you see this? And they they put too much importance on this role to help any country who have any issue and in a quick way?
Well, I'm not. This is expected, and this is part of the UAE diplomacy. Humanitarian diplomacy is part of the UAE diplomacy. So that's why you always see UAE in the forefront of humanitarian aid. We saw that in Syria, we saw that in Turkey, and now we're seeing it in Morocco and in Libya. And also, the UAE has a huge experience in that, and that's why UAE was one of the 4 countries that their humanitarian aid was accepted by Morocco. And was mainly because of their experience in humanitarian relief, because Morocco was asking for a specific kind of humanitarian aid, and the UAE has this kind of experience. So this is common, and it's part of the UAE diplomacy and strategy.
Yeah, my question now is about green energy. Do you predict major actions during COP28, such as the constructing of a global consensus on zero carbon emissions, or the funding of a fund, American Emirati African fund that can finance economic enterprises that are environmentally friendly?
Well, the head of the COP28, Sultan Jaber, has promised to supercharge climate finance by focuses on cutting of fossil fuel emissions rather than production. There's no mention of the funding of the Emirati African Bank to finance economic enterprises that are environmentally friendly. However, what we heard and what has been declared, the UAE planned to give $4.5 billion to Africa, to Africa's clean energy initiatives. And Sultan Jaber urged the continent to set out long-term transition plans. So that's what has been confirmed so far. We will see if some such initiative like the African Emirati Bank, we will see that maybe it will be announced in the conference.
During the conference.
Yeah, and regarding the zero emission of carbon, what has been decided is basically they will be building on 1.5 cellulite aligned energy transition, which is intended to build a consensus on that, and which is going to be compatible energy transition pathway and enabling conditions needed to achieve them. That's what has been decided.
I have a question. You live in the UAE. How do you see the government laws concerning investment? Do you encourage foreign investors, and why the UAE, especially Dubai, is attracting such a huge number of business owners, business seekers, startups, country monies? I don't know. All the eyes is on UAE right now. Can you tell us why UAE now is a mainly economic player in the region?
Well, this is not new, and they have honestly worked hard for it. It's not like over a sudden. And this is the good thing also about federal system. In the UAE, each Amara, it's like focused on a certain issue. And we see Dubai is the economic hub, while Abu Dhabi is more the political hub. And while Sharjah, for example, is more the cultural hub. And so, answering your question, why investors are attracted, because definitely what investors are asking for, easy facilitations, easy access, excellent infrastructure, all of that, you find it in Dubai. So there are no complications. And beside the good environment they have, whether culturally and also in terms of business. So everything is made in Dubai for business investment, because actually the city itself was established for economic investment since its establishment. So that's why it didn't come over a sudden.
Yeah. What about the laws? Are they comfortable? So you think that?
Definitely, it's very comfortable and convenient. That's why it's attracting investors and businessmen from all over the world. It's not only from the region. And we saw that before our eyes.
Yeah. You have impressive work about fashion. You published works dealing with women, sports in the Arab Gulf countries. How do you see the investing sector of Saudi Arabia in sports? The combining with PGA and Live Golf, the buying soccer players. How do you see that? They asked the crown prince. He said he don't mind to call it sports washing. So, what is your opinion?
Well, according to the Crown Prince statement lately in his interview, he focused on how the sport investment will return back on the economy of the country. So that's his main focus. He said, I don't care what they call it. They want to call it sport washing as long as it is productive and it will produce and it will actually result in the investment of the country. I don't mind what they call it. Regarding this, the sport popularity in Saudi Arabia, it was so popular long time ago. But because of now they are like more focusing on that. A part of it is investment economy, and part of it is what we call sport diplomacy. This is a part of it. So, we notice that Saudi Arabia is quite a conservative country. So investing in sport is why quite, put it in a more safe kind of entertainment rather than other kinds of sports. And also, even before the changes that happened lately by the vision of 2030, there was a huge emphasis also on women's sports. And I noticed that Princess Rima was really active in that. And my chapter in the book, women's in the book, and the name of the chapter is basically women's sport and fashion in Arab Gulf countries, was basically focusing on that. On a certain aspect like Islam and culture, and how women's attire in the traditional societies shouldn't be hindering women's participating in sports. So you can be covered, you can wear your own traditional dress, but at the same time, you can participate in sports. And I discuss in this chapter the different initiatives by Saudi women, Gulf women, Emirati women, and fashion initiatives that suit the sport women.
Yeah.
Regarding certain abayas and certain outfits for sports.
My last question and finally is about the MENA 2050. You are a part of it, you remember, and I think you're in the leadership. Can you tell us more about your involvement in such organizations?
Well, my main involvement, mainly from the beginning, after the Abraham Accords, mainly including many initiatives like the MENA 250, is mainly in the media and academia, because I believe so far until now, we can see the emphasis is more until now is government to government, which is fine as a primary stage. But if we want to take that to stage number 2, which is mainly to more people to people, definitely you have to involve the media and the educational sector. How you're going to influence the people, how you're going to be basically exploring what is the benefits of these kind of peace agreements without involving those two main factors. So that's my main focus. And I talked about mutual exchanges between, for example, the countries of the Abraham countries to be in different kind of media. So, for example, I always talk about how Emirati, for example, media officials can be on Israeli media, for example, and vice versa. This is how we can explore it. And then after that, I also, but it hasn't come to the light, I need the support for that. I even collaborated with different academic professors to establish courses dealing with this. But definitely we need it doesn't come like as individual initiatives. It has to be collaborated in order to put these courses lecture about them in the universities and in the educational institutes.
Yeah. We hope
but it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah, with patience you can achieve it. Thank you immensely, Dr. Najat Al Saied. You enriched our dialogue with many good and great thoughts. Thank you again, and all the best.
Thank you.
Hey, Maria Malouf here. Please click to like and subscribe to Maria Malouf TV YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.